Hello, and welcome to my little victory garden where I'm trying to grow food for my multi generational household of 5 in my small backyard garden. I thought we would do a garden tour today since I am off work. Normally, I do these on a Saturday, but my wife is currently on a business trip and will be coming home late Friday. So I figure Saturday I'm going to be pretty focused on, seeing her again. So here we are. It's a Thursday, and it is June 19th, and this is where my garden is. This is my little banana pepper. The stuff I have in the grow bags really, at least these 15-gallon ones, have not been doing well. I'm wondering if I shouldn't have filled the base of them with some of that mulch and just put these things into smaller bags. But this is my banana pepper. The first one had some blossom end rot, so I just kind of dropped it where it was. I've got another one doing well, but overall the plant is not thriving. I have fertilized occasionally with some fish emulsion. This is some cayennes that at least they're growing. These not so much. And then that's that Cubanelle that I'm not even sure if you can see it here. See the little thing? Yeah, it hasn't done squat. Somehow I have grass growing in that pot. But this is one of the tomatoes. This is probably actually my healthiest tomato. It's one I grew from a sucker and just kind of put in here. I'm not even sure what variety we're dealing with here. We will see once the tomatoes start forming, and they are. Let's see if I can get that little bitty thing right here. So I am betting it's probably a San Marzano or a Amish paste based on the shape of that tiny. And sorry, we have the garbage truck running on Juneteenth. I'm kind of surprised. Yeah. I'll pause this. Okay, he's far enough away. I think we can do this. So this is my pickle bush cucumber. It's got a few small pickles on it. I have already done my harvest for today. I got a little over a pound. I'll show you a picture of it because I did most of it. Then I went back and I did my cucumbers, and I got one cucumber. This is my peanuts. So I've never grown them before. I don't know if they're supposed to be bigger than this or what, but I know it was supposed to put on flowers. I've not seen any. I moved the other one to a place where I'll get a little bit more sun. This is my Creole tomatoes, or half of them. They are really struggling. I need to cut off all those yellow leaves. I did do that for the rest of my tomatoes this morning. And then that's the Archangel Angelina that we got in southern Louisiana when we got our tomatoes. And this is my giant sunflower that still only wants to look over my neighbor's yard. And then on this side we have beans, and I am harvesting beans twice a day and getting anywhere from 1 to 6 ounces at a time. We were eating beans about every 7 to 8 days. Now I think it needs to be about every 4 to 5 days. In fact, I have a pot going now and have already started filling my container for the next round. Look how tall those muskmelons have gotten. And I still have a few vines I need to kind of tuck in over there. And as you see, the bees are going crazy here. I have started seeing squash bugs again, or at least their nymphs and eggs. So we will probably start having issues with that again. I'm hoping I can get my melons before it becomes too big of a deal. But I'm very excited to have found one of my muskmelons developing here. And then there's one on the other side that's kind of growing on the ground. I wasn't sure the bees were actually pollinating this. They've been really kind of focused on those watermelon. one of the watermelon has gone. It was a little tiny, it gotten, golf ball size and then just shriveled up. But I still have 3 good size melons, and I'm pretty excited about those. These are a Sugar Baby watermelon. And, the muskmelons, I have a Crenshaw and a Hales Best over here. I'm going to be really sad if these die before the end of the season, because they are providing a nice little bit of shade in that tunnel. We'll go in that tunnel a little bit and I'll show you. And then there's my cucumbers. I'm harvesting a cucumber every day. If not I'll get it every other day. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm trying to harvest them pretty small, but I've had a couple get away from me, because that's a lot of leaves to hunt through to find cucumbers. And I've got a couple that I'll probably be harvesting tomorrow off that. So over here are my Bells of Ireland. Aren't these pretty? They're a very different kind of flower. I think my daughter had picked those out a couple of years ago, and I just never got them planted. And I threw out a bunch of flower seeds of different sorts, but they did not all do well. But that one and the zinnias there did. I've harvested a bunch of zinnias off this morning and did a little arrangement in the house. I'll show you a picture. And that's my Texas tarragon, which is huge. I've taken off large hunks of that to try to give the flowers some space. And now everything else is overshadowing the Texas tarragon. I fed a lot of it I took it to a friend to feed to her chickens. I probably think I need to harvest some of these Bells of Ireland and add them to my little arrangement. Maybe I'll do that later today. This is a raspberry I planted, I can't remember, a Latham, I think. I planted that this year. I need to do a little bit better job of trellising it. And then this is the strawberry. Bonnie Seeds doesn't really seem to tell you what variety, but it is some sort of everbearing variety, and it's already trying to put on little baby plants. I probably should move that other one to, those last 2 bits over to this side. Since I just have the one plant, I'm not like, I need to harvest these berries, and the birds are getting to them before me anyway. But I am excited to be getting more plants. And then I'm thinking this little patch here, I'm going to buy another blackberry bush for. There's a Primocane Traveler that I want that should be a more a variety that will kind of produce throughout the season. It's a second year, and the first year it'll put on fruit, which is kind of exciting. This is my Arapaho. This is that one that kind of fell over and was looking so sad, so I cut off where it had been, the leaves were all kind of dead, and it is starting to put on a branch there. But this other cane that was behind it really just took off once that first one was cut down, and it is really kind of making up for it. I was kind of worried what my harvest would be like next year, but it's doing well. That was last year's branch, and it's kind of, I wasn't real good at getting my berries off, so you can see them kind of shriveling up over there. It wasn't a lot, so not a lot of motivation to get out here and deal with that. All my blackberries are thornless. I have thorns on the raspberries. I don't know, do they make a thornless raspberry? That would be kind of cool. Okay, back to this side. This is that patty pan squash. It is doing really well. I am occasionally finding squash bug eggs on it, and some leaves that look a little, wonky, like this one. I try to cut those off as I find them. I'm also just removing leaves that I find bugs eggs on, because the take method was not working for me. I did this morning remove a lot of those kohlrabi, and I'm going to clean up the rest of this later today after it cools off, because it's hot and I'm sweaty. But it seems to be attracting harlequin bugs, and those things are horrible. I hate those things. And That's over there is my yellow crookneck squash. I have harvested 2 off that today, and it looks like it's got some sort of bug on there. See if we can get in and see that. Just a bug. I wanted to get over there and look at that. I think those are squash bugs. I hate them. We have corn here and sweet potatoes at the base. I'm not sure if that was the best choice I made, but we'll see. It's an experiment. And I've got beans growing in amongst them. I'm starting to see flowers on these Chinese lung beans. And then, see, back over here is some more raspberries. I've got another Arapaho. Sorry, can you see that? Another Arapaho. And then it's hard to see with the sun so bright on my screen of what I'm actually pointing at here. And this is the, I think, Chester. And then a triple crown, which it's putting on flowers. I didn't think it would this year. But yeah, I might have a handful of blackberries come August. And then you see the bean vines are kind of coming out here. I don't think that I have enough support for them inside here with the corn. And then we have I think this should be a white zinnia, white polar bear zinnia. I put out a bunch of seeds. That's the only one that seems to have sprouted. And there's my marigolds I got for Mother's Day, my artichoke, and my cosmos. Once again, I put out a bunch of seeds. That's the one that sprouted. But I did, as a confession, I did just kind of throw seeds out and see what happens. It's a little bit of a chaotic moment with the flowers. And there's some more marigolds. And then these are the flower seeds. I think this is the asparagus bean seeds. You see ants crawling all over it. I don't think it's the butterfly pea, but it might be. I'm not, like I said, I'm gonna just have to wait and see if we get any more variety of flowers. But those are so pretty, even with the horrible little ants all over them. And this is my oregano I planted last year. I have harvested aggressively off of it, and I've put back a quart of dried oregano already, and it's still overgrowing. I need to cut it back again. Oh, grapes. That's my fry muscadine, and that's my cowart muscadine. All right, into the tunnel. This is my favorite part of the garden. Yeah, let's look at those. Yep. Let's see if you can see that. Squash bugs everywhere. Yep. I killed a few. I wasn't super successful. At this point, if the squash bugs get them, that's fine. I've gotten squash this year and lots of squash blossoms. Just hope long enough for the ones I've already got pollinated to ripen, which they're ripening pretty quick. I'm a little sad. I'm hoping they don't go after my melons too bad, or my cucumbers. But yeah, these are my cucumbers. I've got a mix of Marketmore 76 and Muncher. And over here are the peppers. So I've got jalapenos, a bell. These are supposed to be a pimento. This was some free seeds of those pippin peppers. There's another bell, but they're put on these long, funky bell peppers. And then I've got a pimento, which is just starting to turn red. Let's see if we can get down in there. It's kind of hard for someone to focus there. You see it? Okay. And then I've got my Chinese eggplant. I harvested one yesterday. I'll probably harvest that one tomorrow. And then my tomatoes are starting to get the funky leaves, so I spent a lot of time trimming them this morning, and there's still more I missed. But they're not, my cherry tomatoes really just are not producing. Which in the past I've done a Sun Gold, and they were like some of my first ones to produce. And this is my Creole tomatoes. One of the two plants is kind of producing. I've harvested a few of those for fried green tomatoes, but I'm looking forward to them turning red. And this is the Mortgage Lifter, also not produced a lot, but I've got a couple of tomatoes in there I'm looking forward to. And this is the other side of the watermelon and cantaloupe. Let's see. I need to put something here. I'd harvested all the lettuce and stuff. I wasn't really sure what to do. Let's see. We have the San Marizanos. I've harvested a handful of those. I'd really hoped they would be a little more prolific. Although I've got a giant one down there. On this end is the Amish Paste. I've harvested one of those. It was huge. I think it's actually the biggest tomato I've harvested to date. But you can see those coming in. And that's my chamomile. I've harvested quite a few flowers off that. We might actually have enough for a batch of 2 on from this little plant. This is my wife's hibiscus. Of course, she's out of town during its peak blooming, so she's missing it. And these peanuts actually did seem to grow more since I moved them over here to the sun, so I might move the others as well, but it's heavy. Okay, basil. I harvested very aggressively off this yesterday and made a huge batch of pesto. Some of it went in the freezer, and marigold and garlic chives. But I need to put some more basil plants into this area. I'd had some that, those are the ones that had been in those compostable pots that did everything just died that was in them. And my Egyptian walking onions, I'm so happy with those. I have okra it's blooming. I've got my first okra bloom. Isn't it beautiful? And more okra that were all planted at different times. And this is the other side of the tomatoes. You can see where I've missed harvesting cutting off some of those yellow leaves. I did find a hornworm the other day and killed it. I need to start coming out here at night and checking for hornworms because I think that's poop, which means there's another one up here somewhere. Just not seeing it. It's easier to find them at night with a black light. And the apple tree, I've harvested a bunch of zinnias off the ones here growing at the base of it, and I've harvested so much lemon balm. We've got enough tea for the year. We made a lot of lemon balm pesto. I have gifted it to people and had it given to chickens. But yeah, this has been a very happy plant. And then the Gophrynia that I had done from seeds I saved last year. My marigold and my lemon thyme. And my lemon mint seems to finally be taking over here with Buddha Kitty. And then my mint bed is finally filling out. I've harvested from this as well for a stuffed squash blossom recipe. That was really good. I'm seeing some weeds still in there that need to be pulled. And my rosemary and my French thyme, if y'all can see that. And then my parsley, that rue that I'm not sure that was the best place for it. There's a Tabasco pepper and some spicy oregano and some chard. And there's my sage. I should be getting a little garden statue of a German Shepherd to go at the base of that to commemorate my garden buddy that I lost a couple weeks ago. And then this is my Paradise Rose. She's been blooming beautifully. I've been harvesting them most days and drying them for a rose petal jelly later. And I've got English lavender. This is my red roselle hibiscus. I really put this in a bad place. I had no clue that it was going to get this big, but I'm still learning, even after gardening in this space for 12 years. I'm always expanding and trying new things, and yeah, next year this is going somewhere else. But I've got grapes here. I need to get those trellised, and then I've got a Tabasco over here, which I'm finding it interesting how it's growing. I probably should have put it closer back to the fence line because the shade it's getting from there, you can see it's not really growing. But then it's all bushing out here where it's getting some sun, and it's got lots of little green peppers in there. I need to put some gloves on and harvest those in the next few days. I'm going to make a pepper sauce, I think. And so the grapes are, this is my red flame seedless grape, and then this is my Suffolk, which is also another red table grape. And I think that's it for the garden right now. I'm pretty excited. It's doing really well, but the squash is, I think, on its way out. I'm going to have to figure out something to go in that bed. So this is this morning's harvest. Well, most of it. It's the first time I've harvested one of the yellow squash, and I got 2. I have harvested several patty pan squash. So if my squash plants die, I've gotten more than I'd ever expected. And then this is the cucumber I went back out for later because, yeah, those things hide. And the zinnias here I harvested. The rest came from a purchased bouquet. That's what's left of them. But if you're enjoying seeing how my garden progresses, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you can see what we're doing next.